Hello, Gemini. Welcome into the channel. I hope you are doing well. So this is the reading for the full moon in Leo. That will be this weekend. It is about courage, confidence, being unapologetically you. I want to know, how is this full moon affecting your romantic situation? Always remember to take what resonates and throw out what doesn't. If you find nothing resonates, check out your other sign placements. We embody every zodiac sign, okay? So if you have no planets in any of the houses, you still have a zodiac sign. So we can be in any of those energies at any given time in our life, okay? So, what's going on for Gemini? Full moon in Leo. What's going on romantically? And I hope you're doing well. Three of Wands. Two of Swords. Seven of Wands. Judgment. Hermit. Eight of Wands. Five of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles. The Lovers. Dun-dun. Ooh, Seven of Swords in the outcome. All right, Gemini. So currently you are Three of Wands. Feels like you are at a point in your life right now currently that you're either gaining the confidence, okay, you're feeling a little bit more confident, you're starting to look ahead. The challenge you have right now is the Two of Swords. So, difficult choice. I think you're mentally going back and forth, and it's funny because I just did Virgo's reading. They were currently in the Two of Swords. But the Two of Swords is your challenge. So it's like currently you want to look forward, right? You want to step forward, you might want to manifest something new. You're trying to grow, but you're stuck on something in your head, all right? So we'll probably need to clarify and see what's going on there. The root of this situation is the Seven of Wands. It's like you need to stand your ground. So the root is, standing firm, planting yourself, protecting yourself, standing strong, and remaining grounded. In your recent past, you have Judgment. So I feel like in the recent past you were forced to look at something. So Judgment is, making a final decision on something, or it's sometimes the universe will rearrange things or bring things into our life or change things that is going to force us to reevaluate ourselves. So it's, kind of doing a reflection. And so that was in your recent past. Your higher self is the Hermit. So it's, your higher self is, I feel it's saying, take a look inside, okay? Let's pull back. Let's go in solitude. Let's go inside and take a look at what this situation is and why are we struggling with a decision, especially if you had judgment in the past. So it's, something we're going to need to clarify, but something came in that was like, okay, it's time to reflect on myself and to make a change. And even your higher self is saying, let's take a look at this. Let's look inside for a minute. And judgment is a lot of, like I said, it's reevaluating yourself. So you might be reevaluating yourself externally and internally, right? It's kind of like everything around you. In the near future, you get the Eight of Wands. Well, things are going to start to pick up quickly for you. And it could be the fact that, because of whatever was in the past, is making you realize, your subconscious mind is saying, well, let's take a look at this. And when you finally do take a look at what this situation is and you make a final decision, life picks up. Things start moving forward for you. Doors start opening. Conversations are starting to be had. Okay? So you currently feel, your thoughts and feelings. You've got the Five of Pentacles. Well, you're kind of feeling, isolated, a little abandoned maybe. And it makes sense, if your higher self is the Hermit and you've had judgment. So you've probably been on a bit of a healing journey. And, I think you might be starting to come out of that a little bit. You may have been alone for quite some time. Confirmation. Thank you, Spirit. You may have been alone for some time doing the evaluation. And so, even though you're currently feeling, the Five of Pentacles, maybe you're feeling like you're going through some hardships and, maybe somebody abandoned you and it's making you feel isolated. Okay, I mean, that makes sense. Your outside influences, so how others are on the outside of you, is the Knight of Pentacles. So if you're dealing with somebody or there's somebody you want to deal with romantically, they're moving slow. Slow. There's a snail on this Knight of Pentacles. They're not in a hurry. They're definitely not in a hurry. Your hopes and fears is the Lovers. So it's kind of like your hope is to find your lover. Your fear is, well, what if my lover doesn't choose me? Because the Lovers is a choice. It is a strong connection. So you may be on the outs with somebody, right? That is your lover. That's you. That's Gemini energy. So we've got Scorpio. We've got Virgo. Yeah. And yeah, those are the main signs. And so, your lover, you may already know this person. You may be a little on the outs, right? Because of the judgment coming in. And so taking the solo hermit's journey to reflect on the lover's connection, you hope that it's your lover that comes in. You hope they choose you, but your fear is that they won't. So the outcome is the Seven of Swords. It's somebody was lying about something. I need to clarify that. I don't know if it was, was your lover lying about how they felt about you, or is it the outcome of, you realizing, were you lying to yourself, thinking they were going to choose you? Because the lover's connection is very strong, but it's also very challenging. You both have to be able to choose each other at the same time. Usually in the lover's connection, until both parties are healed enough and actually get to a point where they choose each other, before that, and that's even if they do choose each other, before that, it's a lot of repelling, back and forth, push, pull. You're ready, they're not ready. They're ready, you're not ready. And that's just kind of how it goes, and this can go on for years, right? It can go on for lifetimes because it's, mind, body, and soul, right? It's the whole package. It's everything, but it's very challenging because it is a whole package. We're going to need to clarify some of this and see what's going on. So I guess what I'd like to know for starters, I know you're currently ready to move forward, right? To have confidence, you're ready to grow, but Two of Swords, what's going on? Two of Swords. What's the stalemate? Or, is it the denial? Is it struggling with the decision? What is the Two of Swords? What are we back and forth on here, please, with the challenge? Okay, so there's the King of Pentacles. So could be an earth sign you're dealing with. We've got the Queen of Pentacles. So that's the matching pair. Both are resourceful. Giving. And it could just simply be the fact that you're stuck on, can we choose each other as the lover? Give me one more. There's the Page of Cups. Yeah, see, there's that little drop of water. You both are pentacle energy, very earthly. It gives me this feeling of, are you able to come forward? Can you both come towards each other and have an emotional conversation? Can you be open emotionally? Maybe with both of you being Pentacle energy is, you know, maybe there wasn't a lot of, you know, emotional talking, you know? The I love you, I care about you, you know, I choose you, that kind of thing. So it's kind of like you're stuck wondering, can this be emotional? Right? Can we open up? Or is this just a dream? Right? The Page of Pentacles can be, you know, dreamy. You're like, is this just a dream? Is this just, or can we actually open up and share feelings with each other? So what's the Judgment? What happened in the recent past with Judgment? The Hierophant. The Wheel of Fortune. The King of Swords. Oh boy. Okay. So the Hierophant, it's kind of like, you know, do I believe in this kind of connection? You know, you had to get clear, right? With the King of Swords, you know, they're very thought provoking, and it's the Wheel of Fortune is, you know, it's like, well, is this a karmic, or is this really a lover? Right? Not all lovers are meant to stay in your life. Some come in for a season. Some can stay. And it's almost as if it's like, well, I need to take a look at this, right? Do I believe in this? Am I learning more about myself? Right? The Hierophant is very much a belief. It is very much learning. And it's like, it's taken a while for you to come to this conclusion of, is this a karmic, or is this really, you know, a spiritual connection? And you were faced in the recent past to awaken, to take a look at this connection. Okay. Yeah, see, with the Seven of Wands, the root, it's kind of like you feel like I feel like I'm talking to a Gemini that feels they've had to defend this connection, right? You've had to stand your ground. You feel like you've had to stick up and protect and defend what this connection is. But it's okay. Recent past is, let's get kind of clear. Do I really believe in this? Is this a karmic, or is this really a spiritual, strong connection? Is it really my lover? You know? Okay. So, Hermit. Let's take a look at the Hermit. Yeah, there's the Ace of Swords. Yeah, see? You took your higher self is giving you clarity. You know, you're getting enlightenment. You're going in and you're getting clear about, because you are pulling back and being solo and in solitude. It's allowing you to get clear. Judgment came in, but then your higher self is like, let's get clear on this. Give me more. Sharp truth. Yeah, there's the moon. There's the moon. It's, you know, give me one more. It's like, is this an illusion, or, you know, am I just pretending and hiding that I don't believe in this? There's the Seven of Wands again, twice. So it's almost as if it's getting clear that, you know, you have to, you're constantly trying to stick up for this connection. You're always, you know, and you're getting clear on the fact that it's always you having to defend this, to stick up for it because you believe in it. But then it's like, is this an illusion? Right? It's like, is this an illusion of me sticking up for this? Let's go to the Lovers. King of Cups. Nine of Pentacles. Dude, Seven of Swords again. It's like somebody is constantly sneaking away from the connection. They hide their emotions for it. And, you know, they're always off, sneaking off. You know, Nine of Pentacles, it's like maybe they're always focusing on other things, you know, work, you know, making money, being more self-sufficient, you know, in life, just worried about themselves, and they're always sneaking off. The King of Cups has emotion, but isn't showing it. You know, that's the poker face. So that's why you're always in this state of, you feel like you have to stick up for it and protect it because your lover's always running from it. And it's like they bury themselves in work and making money. They got emotion, don't get me wrong, but they hide it. And they hide it by focusing on making money. All right, so what's the Seven of Swords in the outcome? You know, there's a lot of lying and hiding and sneaking off, denying. Seven of Swords in the outcome. There's the Nine of Wands. There's Judgment again, twice. There's the Magician. You know, it feels in you know, two majors as well. It's kind of like, you know, with the Judgment again, is the outcome I feel is you've used all of your strength, all of your willpower. You've done everything you can with the Nine of Wands. That's the wounded warrior. That's the one that, you know, fights to the end and doesn't give up. And the Magician has all the tools to do the manifesting, all the resources, has the willpower. But then you've got Judgment again. And it's like, in, you know, the outcome, it's, you know, do you have enough resources and willpower to keep fighting and choosing this connection? Because they're not. So it's like, I don't feel this person is going to be done anytime soon with hiding or avoiding. Because you've got Seven of Swords twice. You've got Seven of Wands twice. Judgment twice. And it takes two. Even if it's just a regular relationship, or even if it's just a regular friendship, it takes two people. It always takes two people. And you've got one that's always sneaking off, burying themselves in work. And it's, you know, you're going to have to ask yourself, you know, is this ever going to change? It's like getting real with yourself in the outcome of this. Because this person may never choose you in this lifetime. And I get that. I completely get that. I know what you're going through. I know how you feel. And it's, you know, it's almost like, you know, put your resources to use in something else, right? Make that final call to stop being the wounded warrior and to stop reapproaching and trying to, I guess, talk this person into believing, you know, because you had the judgment with the Hierophant, and it's like, you know, you're clear about the connection, but it's trying to get them to be clear about it. And I guess really the only way they're going to get clear about that is on their own. So in a lover's connection or twin flame connection, you know, this does look a little twin flamey with all the doubles, right? And the sevens. 7 is a divine number. It almost feels one person wakes up spiritually first, and it's usually the feminine. Now, it doesn't matter if you are a masculine or a feminine. We're talking about the energy. So it's whoever is spiritual wakes up to their spirituality first. It could be a masculine or the feminine, but it's the energy. Whoever embodies that spiritual energy and wakes up to it first knows the connection. You know, it's the recognition of that person knowing they are. But it takes a long time for the masculine energy to wake up. So I guess I'm going to use another deck, a different deck real quick. Well, actually, let me take a step back. Tell me about this 8 of Wands real quick. Tell me about this 8 of Wands. What what picks up quickly? Tell me about this Eight of Wands. There's the Sun. Leo energy. Full moon is in Leo. Yeah, Six of Swords. There's the Hermit again. Twice with the Hermit, right? Just twice. So what's going to start in the near future, what's going to pick up for you quickly is your, your higher self, like I said, is telling you, hey, is this an illusion, you sticking up for this, right? Because you need two people to stick up for it. Is an illusion, and it's what's going to happen is it's going to pick up fast for you in the near future of the movement of moving on, transitioning on, and finding your happiness. All right. This is what the enlightenment you're getting, because there's the Hermit, your higher self, because you're questioning yourself, am I being a fool? Is this, because it's funny, because the moon is the feminine energy, the sun is the masculine energy. So I feel like, actually, thank you, Spirit. So the moon and sun are the masculine and feminine energy. And that is kind of what the lover's connection is. You've got one that's, they kind of switch off, right? In some cases, you might be the feminine, you might be in your masculine energy, and then you'll switch off and go into your feminine energy, and vice versa. The idea is for each person to both be equally balanced between the 3D, which is the sun, because we can walk outside, we smell the fresh air, we can, the sun's there, it's shining on us, it's daylight, we can see everything clearly. And then at night, it's dark, you've got the moon. And so, yeah, you can still step outside, but you can't see everything. So you have to depend on your intuition, right? And I feel like your higher self, your spiritual side, your feminine side, you're sharp, you're clear. You know that you've defended this lover. This is your person. You feel it, you know it in the moon, which is your intuition. But then what speeds up quickly for you in the near future is the actual 3D, right? So the moon is your 5D, right? That's the spiritual connection. But then you get back into the 3D with the sun, and you start to realize internally, you're waking up to the fact of, I'm just going to start to transition on from this. They keep hiding, they keep lying, they keep sneaking away. I don't think they're ever going to wake up to this. And so you start to transition on. That's why up here with the outcome, the Seven of Swords, it's, okay, are you done, it's like you're exhausted, right? You're exhausted because they're constantly lying, sneaking. They don't want to look at this connection. They're moving really slow. You're always feeling like you're abandoned, left out in the cold, because that's how you feel now. But you're going to say to yourself, I don't know when this person is going to wake up to this connection. I don't know when they're going to believe in it. I know I do. I don't know when they are. And it's taking a long time. Meanwhile, your life is still moving. So it's like you finally speed up in the near future, and decide for yourself, I just need to start living. I need to go back out into the sunlight, right? I'm always in the moon. I'm always in my spirituality because I feel this person, intuitively, right? You probably have dreams about each other and you get the connection because Gemini, you're the lovers. You recognize it, but you can't force them to. They have to realize it. But in the meantime, you got to stop you have to get out of this feeling of constantly being felt like you're left out in the cold, because all they want to do is deny it and lie to themselves about their feelings, because they have feelings for you. That, no doubt in my mind, they have feelings for you, but they're questioning this connection. It's too much, so they would rather go off and make money, focus on their pentacles, their 3D world. They don't want to go into their intuition in the moon and think about it. So I think that's what's happening for you, is you're making a judgment call that even though you know what this is, you're ready to start living. You're ready to get out into the 3D world, to get into your boat and just transition on and save your resources as the magician. All your willpower, power, and resources, you're going to start putting back into yourself. You're like, they're lying to themselves about how they feel. So you want to stop lying about trying to convince them and stick up for this, that you two are a lover's connection. You're tired. I get it. I completely get it. What else do we have for this? But I'm glad to see in the near future it picks up for you. You're starting to move on and live again a little bit more. Yeah, anxiety. Magnetic attraction. Social media. Interesting. So this almost feels like, the lover's connection is very magnetic. But I also feel you're becoming very magnetic because you've already woken up to your spirituality. And so I feel you're on the path. So you're starting to glow because you're like, I'm not putting any more of my time and effort and resources into sticking up for this connection. You can't carry it all. So you were tired, you were worn down, it was probably showing. And when this picks up and you start living again, you're going to become very magnetic, okay? With the social media, I feel like people, if you're on social media or if you're on any platforms, anywhere to where this person can see you, be able to see pictures of you, they're going to start to have a little anxiety because you're magnetizing. And that's because you've embraced your spirituality. Now you're like, okay, well, I'll get back out and I'm going to live. I know I'm on the spiritual journey. I'm going to continue my journey. I'm, just not going to hide in the moon anymore. I'm coming out. Like, instead of coming out at night where nobody can see me, I'm coming out during the day where everybody can see me. And you're becoming magnetic. And it's going to show, and it's going to give your lover anxiety. It's going to start to give them anxiety. Now, I don't know, if they'll choose it or whatever. That's a timeline we can't predict. Everybody's journey is different. But I will tell you, it will give them anxiety because every lover's connection, whether they understand it or know it, they feel it. They feel a pull towards you, even though they deny it. So they're going to start to feel it. But you're going to go ahead and you're going to start to live because you can't wait for them to stop denying it. So let's get you a spiritual card and let you get to living. Oh, dang, you get two. 7, 7, 7. Didn't I tell you with all the sevens? Spiritual awakening. Oh, I know why I got 2 cards. One is for you and one is for your lover. Okay. So we have spiritual awakening and new beginnings. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right. Let me start with this one. New beginning. 919. You're ready to start a new chapter of your life. Be open to meeting new people. Didn't I just say you were magnetizing? People are starting to get attracted, and it shows if you're on platform and it's going to give your lover anxiety. That's because you're starting to have a new beginning. You're starting to live. You're coming out. That's going to start picking up very fastly for you. You're like, okay, all right. I cannot make anybody wake up. The spiritual awakening is for your lover. You are on the right path. You're spiritually evolving and aligning with your higher purpose. So you already are here. You've already had a spiritual awakening because you've been in the moon for a very long time. You're already living your higher purpose. What happens is, because you've already awakened and because you're living your higher purpose, now you're stepping into the 3D world and you're coming out in the sun and you're like, this is me. You're starting to show everybody, hi, you can see me. I'm not coming out at night anymore. I'm coming out during the day. You can see me. It's showing, and it's going to give them anxiety. And then that's when they will start to slowly wake up. I don't know how long this is going to take. That's different for everybody. But just know, by you moving on and living your life, it's going to give them the spiritual awakening. Now, that could be a long time, right? It still doesn't mean they won't choose you. It doesn't mean they'll choose you in this lifetime. It could be another lifetime. But I will tell you, in this lifetime, you're waking their little ass up. So, I wish you all the best. I'm glad that you're going to start living. And in due time, you may find yourself another soulmate, somebody that is not your lover, but there's still a good connection for you. And that happens all the time. So, Gemini, that's what I have for you. It was deep. It was deep. If anything resonated, hit the like button, drop a comment if you feel comfortable, share, subscribe, and until the next time, I'll talk to you soon.